can hear the. We are. Here we go.
Here we go.
Down a camera. We got a lot of shit going on.
But this time it's like, it's not our fault. It's not anybody's fault this time.
Yeah, producer Rick is actually with us.
Are we saying that the last time that it was my fault? Is that what we're going with?
Yeah, because you weren't with us. Mason shit the bed.
Yeah. But this time it is true, like, mechanical error. A machine broke, not a human.
Yes, the camera broke. We've been doing this a long time with these cameras. So they've lasted.
I guess now that you mention it, it's like official. Is it like 4 years?
I have no idea how many years.
Is that right, Rick? 4 years we've been doing this?
I think it's 5. We're on season 5.
Holy shit.
With these cameras.
Well, I am so excited because I am on cloud 9.
Yeah.
I am. I could not be. And I will say that when you put something, and it's what me and you talk about all the time, because, Renee's always like, why did you say that? Like, we're not there. I used to say, I'm going to do this. And she'd be like, oh my God, really? And I'm like, no, because if I say it out loud, it will come true.
I was on this note, I was literally having a conversation with someone this morning, work related, about you. And they we were talking in good ways, but they said, oh yes, but you don't say that to a visionary. And Steve is a visionary. And I was like, yeah, it's true.
I visualize it. I believe in it. And then, but the problem is people think that it's going to happen overnight. It's not, right? So one of my big influences in my life is my dad, and him being a Vietnam veteran. And I remember being so proud that my dad was a member of the VFW. And they would wear their VFW hats, their military hats. And, they would do the color guard and they would carry the flags. And
for people who don't know, what does VFW stand for?
Veterans of a Foreign War.
Okay.
And my dad and my uncles were all in Vietnam. And as a kid, I loved that they did those things, right? They do a 21-gun salute for a military member when they pass.
Which is the most beautiful thing to see.
You want to talk about,
and
like you don't want to cry and you're trying not to cry, and then the guns go off and you're like, okay, I'm going to cry.
Yes. Or what is it called? The song that they play?
Taps.
The taps. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
But, my dad and his friends would show up to do the 21-gun salute with pride. And, I was just so proud to have a father that was a Vietnam vet, And they had a little VFW there in Portland, and they did the best they could to get it going. And then somebody did something really shitty, so they pulled the VFW chapter away from Portland.
Kind of like a permit, right? They said because it's government regulated.
Yeah, they screwed up. They took their post away. And for years, it just kind of sat there. And my goal had been for a very long time to put a VFW post back together, get reinstated, and have a VFW post for our Gregory-Portland veterans.
Well, because there's a group of there's senior citizens who Vietnam vets. There's probably a group of between 6 to 10 of them.
Yeah, they hang out every morning and talk shit.
They still meet, but they do it at the local McDonald's.
Yeah, they do it at a restaurant. They have coffee. They still meet. I want them to have a home. I want them to have a post. And, that dream of mine to put a post back in Gregory-Portland happened, probably 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And I kept mentioning it, and I kept talking to people, and I kept saying, hey, we need to do this and we need to do that. And then I kept talking about it. And then before you know it, I'm getting hit up by the district managers of the VFW post saying, hey, I can help you. But you need to do this. And okay, well, what's that next step? Well, you need a minimum of 20 members to then reapply to get your post. Okay. We all met at Dairy Queen.
Meetings at the local Dairy Queen to sign vets up.
And I'm running my mouth. Guys, we need 20. We need 20. This was last year, a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Guys, we need at least 20. I got to say that some of my friends have really stepped it up. Chico Hinojosa being one of them as a leader of he's a combat vet. Hector Vargas, combat vet.
Yeah.
Both of them kind of took the leadership and started putting it together. Then all of a sudden we're applying for our post, and boom, we have a post now. We don't have a building. We don't have any money, but we have a post, right? And now they're meeting at the local McDonald's, at the community center. They're having meetings. And I'm like, okay, guys, we need a building. That's the next step. When the time is right, I'll do a fundraising show so we can have money to get the building.
Yeah.
Coincidentally enough, I did the benefit show 2 nights ago, but God works in mysterious ways. Things happen for a reason. Chico's out there looking for a building. Portland makes an entertainment district. Inside the entertainment district, this guy is selling a building.
Yeah.
That building used to be a church. It already has a stage. It's in the entertainment district. I'm like,
when we walked in to look at it, I was like, this building is kind of made to be a VFW.
it's perfect.
Yeah. It looks like all the VFWs that I've been in across America. Yeah.
And we're like, oh crap. So then we talk to the owner and we tell the owner, look, we're about to do this benefit show. Please don't sell this place out from under us. We have the money. Like, we're going to go get it, you know?
Yeah.
And then, oh my God, Renae, I cried twice. It was just, and I really wanted to deliver something to the Portland community that was special.
Yeah.
Like, I really wanted to deliver something that was not your typical comedy show.
I was going to say, it wasn't about being a Steve Trevino stand-up show.
You know, Jerry DeLeon, amazing musician. He came out, he donated his time, played as people walked in. There was, the people that bought tables had black tablecloths. And Chico's wife, Annette, made these beautiful United States of America centerpieces. And we did an amazing meal for everybody.
The catered meal was delicious.
The stage was awesome. The sound was right, you know. I think the key moment that really, because, you know, I always explain to people, the VFW is not a bar. You know, does it have a bar? Yes.
Well, yeah, the building has to make money.
But at some point, people started going, oh, great. You know, the veterans just want a place to have a free bar. And it's like, no, it is about camaraderie. It is about hanging out and being around other people that have experienced the same things. It is about brotherhood, you know. So I had Chico go up, and Chico did he's not quite the speaker, but he's
a quiet man by nature.
But he's a very strong man, so he stepped it up and he did his thing, and he basically explained that. Like, guys, we need this.
Yeah.
Right? We get together, we don't talk about rank, we don't talk about war stories. We talk about, hey, I need help getting, you know, my disability from the VA. How did you do it? And, you know, just basic brotherhood. Yes. And he sold that. So then I'm hosting. Big shout out to Martin Moreno, who normally tours with Gabriel Iglesias. He came out, stepped it up to host, did an amazing job. We had Phil Medina, who came out, did an amazing job. Huda Moreno came out, did an amazing job. But then my friend Shiloh Harris, I encourage you to look this guy up.
We've talked about him on the podcast.
Talked about him
People
quite a bit
told me that after we talked about him on the podcast, they went and bought his book.
Oh, this guy is an inspiration. And he is a dynamic speaker.
Yeah.
I mean, not only is he dynamic, he's funny. So, like, 1 minute he's got you in tears, and then the next minute he's making you laugh.
He's all the things a good public speaker is supposed to be.
He's charismatic. He's funny. He has a message to. I mean, he's just amazing. So he goes up, and my plan was, I'll put him up right before the live auction. Right. I want people to meet this guy, understand what this is, feel his message, cry a little bit, and then open your fucking wallets, people. Yeah. Right.
This is why it's important.
So it worked. But not only that, he walks off stage. There's a gentleman in the front row, bent over in tears. And I go, what's going on here? So Shiloh goes over to him. They have a talk. They hug. And Shiloh goes, this is the man that flew me out of Afghanistan when I got blown up.
Which is the story he's just shared with everyone on stage.
Then that guy goes, I didn't know if you lived or died. He goes, I remember everybody that I halo flighted and got out of there. He goes, and when I saw your hand, he goes, I know, because Shiloh lost a finger. He goes, I held that hand. He goes, and I remember seeing your name, Harris. He goes, but you were so fucked up.
He didn't know what he looked like.
I didn't know what you looked like. He goes, and not only that, he goes, I just did my job. I don't know what happens to these people once I get them to where I need to get them. He goes, I didn't know if you lived or died. And then the whole place just, I mean, everybody was crying. Right, Eric? It was. I was like right there. Oh my God. I mean, and then we go, this is why we need a VFW.
Yeah.
Because things like this happen.
Yeah.
You know.
And even when you do Helicopters for Heroes, there's stories from Helicopters for Heroes about how soldiers discover ways that they were connected. And it's such an immediate bonding experience and an important experience that they need to be able to share.
And of course, because, you know, I'm a big puss and I don't know how to handle crying, I had to pop a joke off. I go, what do you think, guys? We just planted these people in here to make you cry and make you want to give, you know.
These are reenactments, not actual people. No.
But, you know, somebody had donated a barbecue pit to the VFW.
Oh my gosh, I have their business card. I think here in my phone, I snagged one because it was a beautiful, a gorgeous pit. Like if you need a custom barbecue pit, it was beautiful.
And it was funny because he was like, you know, hey, I just wanted the Warrior Customs. Adrian Huerta with Warrior Customs, 361-763-9100. So
I was like, I don't know if we want to give his email or something. I don't know if you want to give his phone number on the card. But I remember seeing it. I know as much as I bitch about how many barbecue pits does one man need.
Sure we hold on
I saw that one and I was like, this one is gorgeous. Like this is a work of art, this barbecue pit.
But I immediately go, because we were going to show off, hey, this has been donated to the VFW. I go, no. Somebody is now going to pay to then donate this back.
Oh.
Right?
Okay.
So I made it clear. I go, guys, now.
I thought it was an auction item from the get-go.
Well, no, because it had their post on it.
Right.
It was for them.
Right.
So I go, now somebody here is going to pay to donate this to the deal. $5,500. Yep. $5,500 just to turn around and donate it back. So it's a free $5,500.
That's awesome.
You know, and I mean, we just kept going and going and going. You know, my goal was like, okay, if we can get 60 grand, that gets us the building, we'll figure it out from there. Yeah. Right? Well, I'm proud to say that we're probably closer to 90 grand. So.
That's awesome. That's amazing.
When it's all said and done, we lost Rick. We got our post back.
Yeah.
And we now have the money to go buy this building.
And how many members? Do you know what the member count is at now?
We are member wise, there's about 50. But there's about 25 that are very active.
Yeah.
And then a lot of guys, because of what they've been through in their life, they don't want to join an organization. And I'm not just saying the VFW, but the American Legion, or they don't want to join because they're afraid of their feelings. They're afraid of you know, what's going to happen. They just, a lot of guys do not want to get involved. They rather stick to themselves.
They don't know. They don't quite understand what they're signing up for.
Yeah, it's scary, right? And blah, blah. But at the end of the night, you know, I'm saying bye and we're cleaning up and kind of wrapping up. And I had two guys together come up to me and say, you got us. We want to join. We didn't want to join, but I think we need it. Yeah. I think we need it. You know, and the guy that's in charge of recruitment, he came up to me and he goes, Steve, I struggle with PTSD. He's like, I can't tell you how many times in my life that I thought about ending my life.
Yeah.
He goes, and I have found service in the VFW. And that's why I'm in charge of recruitment, because I want to find these guys like me that are afraid to open up, afraid to be part of an organization, and convince them to let them know, hey, this is something really special and great. Yeah. So I could not be happier about ultimately we probably raised about 102 or 103,000, but with expenses, we got to pay for the stage, we got to pay for the hall, we have to pay for the food that we fed, right? So all in all, I'm guessing that we're probably at take home about $90,000 to give these guys a home in Gregory-Portland, Texas. And it was a dream of mine. We're not done.
Yeah.
Right? We're not done.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of work to do. But
it's already making an impact. It's already making an impact in those communities.
And I know you had to leave and be mommy, which I love you for, and thank you. But Eric will tell you, because Eric was there the whole night.
Yeah.
The feeling in that room was so special. It was special.
Do you know what? Actually, what I was thinking about on the drive home, because I went and I did the dinner with you so that I could do sort of the VIP meet and greet and thank people with you. But I left because it was Sunday night and the kids had to be back at school. And on the drive home, as much as I say that I looked at the map, you know, as a 17-year-old girl and was like, where's the furthest I can go? And I went to NYU, and I drove home that night because the kids are sleeping in the back. And I just kept thinking that I feel really grateful. You know, they talk about the house that built me. I don't necessarily feel the house that built me. I don't feel an attachment to a home, but the town that built me. You know, and as much as I wanted to get away and go to New York, it was being back in that room and seeing a lot of those people and visiting with them and chatting with them. I just felt really grateful to have grown up there and grown up in that community, because it was a community that raised us.
Well, and it's so cool when people come up to me and they want to relate to me because they're like, oh, I've known Renae since she was a little girl, or, you know, I'm best friends with Mary, you know, or
because my mom had a beauty shop, so all
and
the
then vice versa, they
there.
go to you and they go, oh, I've known Steve since he was little, or I coached him, or I was his teacher, or, you know, and everybody knows that Renae and I are one, right? And they relate to us. And I meant what I said on stage, where, you know, Renae shares me with everybody. And at first, it was hard, and it's still hard.
Yeah.
But we also now, Renae has become so supportive, and I love you for that. Yeah. And you know that I'm going to give my time for veterans. You know, when somebody needs help, I'm going to be there, you know. And now, you know, you're so supportive, and I appreciate you for that. And vice versa, you know, I support you. But what's really crazy is Wade Bowen. So Wade helped us out. You guys saw him on the podcast. I asked him to help out. I mean, without a heartbeat. He was like, yeah, man, I'll be on your podcast. Yeah, you want me to...
On the Christmas podcast, when we did the Helicopters for Heroes podcast.
You want me to sing? No problem.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you know, he's just such a salt of the earth, great guy.
Yeah.
He hit me up about a week ago. You need to take that?
I think it's the school.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll take that. But he hit me up about a week ago, and he said, hey, you know, do you mind doing my charity event on Monday? So literally Sunday, I'm doing the VFW charity event. Monday, I'm doing Wade Bowen's event, which was yesterday. And we raised over there, I performed for that one. We raised over there probably $300,000-$400,000. And then, yeah, it was pretty crazy. And then Renae,
yes,
to top it all off, here I am on Sunday raising money for my charity and what the things I am passionate about.
Yes.
I go do Wade Bowen's.
Yesterday.
Yes. And on the video of a top recipient of Wade Bowen's charity money is Casa.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. So I'm like, well, I guess I did my charity on Sunday. Then I went to go help Renae's charity on Monday. But all in all, I'm really proud of myself. And I hope people don't think that I'm sitting here bragging. I'm really proud of myself, and I would like to pat myself on the back.
No, baby.
I raised $500,000 in 2 days.
I'll do it for you. Like
with help. I didn't do it alone.
Yeah. The group in Portland, you know, they really did help pull a beautiful event off, but you should be proud. You work really hard, and they're, you know, as much as you're sweet and you give me props and say thank you to me, like I don't think people realize it is not just showing up and lending your celebrity. All the phone calls that happen, the ways you really get riled up and fight for those vets when you feel like people aren't giving like they should. It's a lot. It is a lot. It's not just showing up and putting your name on something.
And I know that you know, sometimes my kids go, Dad, really? Like, you could be off this weekend. But I try to explain to them that, hey, you sacrificing your daddy time sometimes is changing people's lives.
And that was the other thing that I was thinking about on the drive home, because here we're doing an event on Sunday, and I've got the kids in the car. We're not getting home till midnight, and then, you know, driving with them in their pajamas, trying to sleep, and then expecting them to turn around and go to school the next day. And yes, they thought that they were going to go home and have a weekend back home with mom and dad. And a lot of that time was taken up on the phone or at the venue or whatever. And I did have a moment though, where I hope that one day they will look back and understand why we did what we did and how it was important. And that they think it was worth it.
I hope so. I mean, I spent Saturday at the liquor store selling Rebecca Creek, and I'm so proud to say that we broke the record. We sold 77 bottles at Liquid Town, and then Liquid Town, because we were so gracious and hardworking, they gave us another donation for my veterans. But yeah, I mean, it's all part of, if you're gonna have so much, you better give back.
Oh yeah, we for sure feel that responsibility.
And it was so cool, and it made me realize why Wade Bowen and I have become such fast friends. He walked on stage and he said the exact same thing. He goes, "This is what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to give back.
Yeah.
And I'm supposed to try to give back more than I take." And my parents taught me that.
Yeah.
And I just watched Wade say that, and I thought to myself, dude, we're very similar. Right, we are very similar in the fact that, man, we live this amazing life, and people come out. Well, what am I going to do with that?
Right,
and which is why I get very disappointed in other celebrities and other comedians, because I go, guys, can you do one show for veterans, one show for kids, one show for an orphanage, and they don't, and I go, I don't get it. Like, look at all this success you have, and comedians that have way more success than I have, that can impact people's lives even more than I can.
Yeah.
What are you doing? What's your cause? What do you care about? Are you doing anything to make this world better? Are you doing anything to enhance other people's lives? And we all need to be doing that.
Yeah.
Right? You don't have to have a lot of money. You don't have to have celebrity. But if you have time, donate that time. Give it to something, to somebody. Try to make this, if everybody tried to make this place a better world, guess what? It would be a better world.
Yeah.
And I've said it before on this podcast. You stopping traffic with a sign isn't making anybody's world better. You looting, you breaking windows, you taking over a downtown with your march, what are you affecting? Nothing. All you're doing is making people irritated. All you're doing is making people sometimes lose their businesses because you're breaking windows, and you're stopping somebody from getting to work or to pick up their kid, or you're like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Get involved. Volunteer. If veterans is your thing, find a way. If orphanages, or is it orphanage now, foster care is a thing, get involved, right? If you think that there is a community that is underserved, show up in that community. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Right? So I'm just proud. I
should be.
I'm not kidding you. I cried at least twice.
Yeah.
When I heard the number on stage, I tried everything I could. Like, I almost broke. Like, I was like, ooh. Be a man, Steve. Be tough. Because it was just a beautiful night, and I cannot wait to show everybody. And by the way, anybody listening right now, I'm gonna start trying to gather businesses and people who give us a list of the things that you can do that you're willing to offer our VFW or our veterans. Mm-hmm. So give us a list. Like, say, hey, Steve, I live in Corpus, or I live in Kingsville, or I live close to Portland. I'm willing to donate time, or I'm willing to donate an air conditioner, or I'm willing to donate tables or chairs, or I'm willing to build you a bar, or please start sending messages so that I know we have a little, what do you call that? Like a
Rolodex.
Little Rolodex.
Do people even use that phrase anymore? Because the Rolodex don't exist. A little black book.
Yeah, a little Rolodex of people that we know that we can reach out to, because the money is going to run out, and the building is not cheap, and we have to get these guys going. And then Chico, we're talking about that yesterday. It is not about our generation in Portland.
Yeah.
Right? We want to better the next generation. We want to turn around and hand the next generation a paid off building and go, hey, you have no idea how hard we had to work to pay this building off for you. You better keep it going.
Yeah.
You have a free building. Now go have fun with it and go help change lives.
Yeah.
Right. So any questions, Rick?
You said that there's a bar inside the VFW. Is it like a social place? Like they actually have workers and stuff there?
No, it's volunteer workers,
Oh, okay.
but yeah, it is a social place. Historically speaking, it is a place for them to gather and have a beer if they like, because there is a bar. But part of their fundraising is baby showers, wakes.
A lot of VFWs will rent out their building to the public for events so that they can make money. And then depending on their licensing, they might not necessarily sell booze, but they'll sell you the mixers and an ice bucket and cups, and you BYOB, and that's how they make their money.
And you rent their building out for your baby shower or for your wedding shower or
they host
bingos.
bingos.
They host bingos, and it's very community involved. But again, what happened is, and it always takes a few idiots to fuck it up for everybody. What happened was that some of these VFWs, all they were was a bar, right? All they were was, hey, come get drunk with us. We want to sell beer and play pool all night. And we're not volunteering at the schools to do color guard. We're not in the parades. We're not trying to change lives.
Yeah.
We're not starting a scholarship, right? We're just partying. So because of that, it got a reputation of, oh, you just want a bar. Like,
Yeah.
no. That's not the case at all, right?
But because we didn't have a post, like I remember it was several years ago when my grandfather passed away, but it was really hard to find someone to come do the taps and the 21 gun salute, because it almost in our community was becoming like a dying art form.
Yes. I mean, there wasn't anybody around,
Yeah.
And we're trying to encourage the younger generation too. I feel like, my dad's generation tried to get involved and get it going, and then it died because there wasn't somebody to hand the torch to, right?
Yeah.
So, Chico and that group need to turn around and go, hey, we need those younger guys.
I
right?
also think that if you don't come from a military family or this is, a cause that you're aware of, I feel like a lot of people don't realize, and I would not, if it hadn't been for you and Helicopters for Heroes, how many vets, like wounded vets who have seen combat, that are around. We think just, because, there's not a war currently happening or whatever, that
there's always a war currently happening.
This community is always there.
One of the negative things that came our way was, why can't we do an American Legion? I served, but I didn't go to war, right? I'm not a veteran of a foreign war. And my thing is, nobody's telling you can't get involved. Nobody's telling you can't hang out.
Yeah.
You're not an official member, but what does that mean? That doesn't mean a thing.
Yeah.
Right? If you want to come and be involved, come be involved, right? Come be involved. Come volunteer. Come be a veteran with these other veterans. However, the experience that a combat vet has versus a veteran that never went to combat is different. It's a different experience.
Well, there's a different trauma that comes with it, right? Like
Yes.
if we're speaking honestly.
Did you serve? Yes. Are you a combat vet? Is different. Were you in the field? Did you see the shit? Right? You got Tatiana and Phil, both Marines, completely different experiences.
Would you agree with that?
Yes, combat marine or military people is different from people that never deployed. It is
It's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
Tatiana just said a combat veteran is very different than a veteran that never deployed.
Because there's a feeling inside of you that you're dealing with that others aren't, right? If somebody were to come to you and say, hey, you're going to war, and it's you and 10 other guys,
Yeah.
and you are going into a place where there are people that want to kill you. And in Phil's case, there's IUDs out there, or IEDs out there, and we're going to send you with some protection, but I need you to disarm all those IEDs, but you could die. That is a different feeling.
Yeah.
That is something that you have to deal with handle and go, all right, we're going out there. And it's you have guns in your hand, and it's at any moment, somebody could try to kill me. Yeah. That is a different feeling than I'm at Lackland Air Force Base doing my job. That is a different feeling.
Yeah.
It's a different mindset. It's a different, there's this video of this Marine, and he's hunched down, and they're in a firefight, and the guy recording him goes, how are you doing? And he goes, man, I'm good, man. I'm hanging in there. And then boom, and you see him go, and he's like, I could do without that. Like, and you see it in his face and his heart and the way that he spoke, where he was like, I could really do without that.
Yeah.
I could do without the boom.
What his normal is different.
Right. So, if you're a veteran and you want to hang out with the VFW guys, please do. Come volunteer. Come help out, right?
Yeah.
Just understand that nobody is degrading your service to this country, because everybody is needed.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody, when I went out there to perform for the troops and we would go to these forward operating bases, the guys that would get in trouble would have to burn the shit. Right? But guess what? We need that guy.
Yeah.
That guy is part of the machine, and we cannot do our job, and other soldiers and Marines cannot do their job without the guy that burns their shit. So he served too.
Yeah.
And maybe in a shittier way, no pun intended, but we need them all.
Yeah.
There's a comedian that did a joke, and that I was just very turned off by it. I wasn't mad at him. I was just turned off by it. Didn't think it was funny. Where he goes, I get it. We need to give it up to these men and women who serve. But do I have to give it up for the guy that holds the baton and brings the plane in? And I'm like, yeah, you do. Because that plane doesn't land without him. Because we need him. Because he's a part of the machine.
Yeah.
Right? And he is just as valuable as the guy that flew out. Because without him, it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
The guy that cooks, if they're not getting fed, it don't happen. The male people. Right? That's what Tatiana did. Morale. She's helping with morale. She's helping getting the letters and gift packages to these Marines and to these soldiers and to these Air Force people so that they could have better morale, right? So everybody's doing their job, right? However, VFW is specific for the combat vet,
Yeah.
the veteran that went to a war, So it's tough, but we can't sit here and slice hairs, right? By the time, before you know it, it's like, well, why did you do an American Legion? Us combat vets can't hang out over there. It's like, well, come on, guys, right?
Yeah.
So either way, very happy. Did that answer your question, Rick?
Yes.
I know, that was a long one. That was a long, any question? By the way, so Eric went out there and he was kind enough to do photographs and take pictures and do all that stuff for the social media and kind of cover the event. Eric, was that the first event like that you've experienced?
Yes. I didn't know what to expect, and then I got there and just seeing the amount of people, the space, the energy was just like, you get taken away in it. And like there was moments where I was like, oh, I got to take a photo because I was just there like listening to Shiloh or like,
right.
like just like so into it.
But
they're not going to be able to hear Eric's answer. You're going to have to repeat.
No, I think they heard it. I mean,
Yeah.
Eric was just saying that he got caught up in the moment and the feeling and the environment and found himself not taking pictures, but just enjoying the feeling.
Like, I didn't want to be rude with like just like having a camera.
Right. Am I being disrespectful? Right. Well, but it was cool too because I drove back with Martin and Hooter, the other two comedians, and I mean they were on cloud nine. They're like, dude, anytime you call me, I've never done anything like that, and oh my god, that was amazing, and I feel so good. I feel so good, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's selfishly I do it for me too.
Yeah.
Selfishly I do it because it makes me feel good, because it energizes me. Because I'm back here at this podcast going, oh my gosh, I feel great. I feel so good about myself.
Yeah.
It's a different thing. And to take my talent and perform for something other than just me. Right? I'm performing going, okay, I got to pay the bills. How much money am I going to make? How many tickets did I sell? Now this was like, hey, I want to sell tickets because I want to affect other people's lives. right?
Yeah.
And we did, man. And Gregory-Portland and the surrounding area came out fucking strong.
Yeah.
The silent auction alone, we did 15,000 in the silent auction. Like, I'm just so proud of our town. Everybody got together. You know, it was just beautiful. And I highly, highly, highly encourage people to get involved. And so what we're doing with Helicopters for Heroes, and we're working out all the details, because we want to continue to stay 100% volunteer, we're going to start asking for people to sign up and be volunteers for us. And then we're going to have like a point system. The more they help, we'll send them gift bags. The more they help, they can actually go to our events.
Yeah.
Like we're going to make like a tier level of, hey, this volunteer did this, and this.
Right.
You get some t-shirts and a hat. Thank
Right.
you. Oh, you did this, and this. You get free admission to the podcast, right?
Right.
And you did this, and this. You get to fly in the helicopter with us, right? So we're going to try to set it up so that people can get involved. And, you know, because a lot of people come to me and they go, yeah, Steve, I'd love to go and fly in the helicopter with you guys. I can't afford that. Well, guess what? Now we're going to set it up to where you can put sweat equity in.
Yeah.
Right.
That's cool.
You can help out.
Yeah.
You can work hard. You can, you know, sell sponsorships to our golf tournament. You can be there to sell tickets at our barbecue cook-off. You know, so we're going to set that up through H4H and get that going, because I think that's the other thing. When you're an Eric or a Mason, you know, and you're going, well, how do I get involved?
Right.
Where do I start? Right. And if I lay it out for you, going, hey, here's what you guys need to do to help us, you'll go, yeah, I can do that.
Here's our needs.
Yeah, but
This is
if
what
you
we
don't
need.
know, it's
Yeah.
like, well, where do I start? Right. I mean, you know, for example, Eric is an amazing artist. Hey, walk into the Boys and Girls Club. Hey, I'd love to paint a mural for you. You know, I'm young. I don't have the money for the materials, but if you guys give me the money for the materials, my talent,
Right.
I'll paint a badass mural for you guys, right?
Right. Or donate make a painting for an auction item.
Yeah, you know, stuff
Yeah.
like that, right? So there is a way to get involved, and hopefully we're going to set up kind of a system at H4H with the team so that we can start doing that,
Yeah.
right? I did love going home to Portland. It felt like home again.
Yeah.
You know, seeing my high school buddies who look so old. They all look like shit. I look great. They don't jujitsu like the Big Daddy, you know. But it was just good to get, you know, see people from back home and squeeze their neck. And,
Yeah.
you know, Lone Star Crane Company came out, dude. And when you pulled up, they had their, right, Eric? They had their
that
crane.
was beautiful.
Dude, they had their crane like 200 feet in the air with a huge American flag and a huge Texas
In
flag.
the parking lot in front of the building.
It set the tone, right? Like you pull up and you're like, there's some America shit going on here. There's some America going on here. I'm fucking excited about that. Yeah.
It was also cool for me, like, because I was taking the personal photos with the phones and, like, just hearing the, like, oh, I remember you from this. Like, those little stories were cool. Those little interactions.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it was really sweet, and also the love they have for you, and you know, we truly are, you know, it's. I'm glad you're here, but where's Renae? Yeah.
There was a few people like, where's Renae?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, hey, Steve, you're awesome. We love you. I'll take a picture with you, yes. But when does she get here? We're saving her a seat at our table to eat.
It's always a little funny because you and I did not go to high school together.
No.
So our friend groups are slightly
different.
different.
Her friend group is soft and weak.
No, hush. But even our communities are within this little town. The
Different.
community of my community of cheerleaders is different than your community of cheerleaders.
Well, not only that, like, you know.
And I think you forget.
Well, generally speaking, too, you know, your parents hung out with different people. My
Yeah,
parents
that's
hung
what I
out, you know.
mean. Yeah,
So,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I was running into a bunch of people like, I'm friends with Mary, or I'm friends with Raymond, you know. So it was really cool, and to move on, such a blessing.
Yeah.
Such a beautiful evening.
You were a blessing, baby. You
well,
did
thank
good.
you.
You did good. And everyone who helped.
I'm very proud. I'm very proud of what we've accomplished. And now, and if somebody out there can help, now the issue is we now have to get the loan for the building from the federal government.
Yeah.
However, the people selling the building need to sell now.
Yeah.
So we have to figure out how to buy the building now so that they cannot have to put it back on the market and then get the federal government to give us the loan. So I know there's going to be a bunch of legal bullshit.
Trying to figure out the logistics of
logistics on how
Yeah.
to.
Somebody could swoop that if it were on the market, right?
Correct. Somebody could come in and
Yeah,
buy
I mean-
it.
Developer crap, you know what I mean?
Now, the
building-
beautiful part is the people that own the building were like,
They want to stay at it or be.
VFW. They're like, we are in. We want this building to be that. So we're going to take it off the market. However, we are in a position that we need to get that money, right? So we need to figure out logistically, legally, tax-wise,
Yeah.
how do we, like, the problem is, do I go in with this charity money and buy it, but how does that affect my taxes,
Right.
right?
Well, and your credit.
And my credit, well,
And
we
all
do,
of that, yeah.
he said he would do owner finance, right?
Yeah.
And then I hold the loan, owner finance, and then, or does Chico go in, own the loan, owner finance, or does helicopter? Now, the other thought
The
was,
nonprofit. Can a nonprofit carry the loan?
well, the other thought was, do Helicopters for Heroes go in, buy the building, lease it back to the VFW, pay off the building, and then we leverage that to then go put other buildings in other towns?
If you have advice on how to do this,
I don't know.
Yeah. We'd
I'm
like to
just-
have a conversation.
I'm just a
with
dumb
you.
comedian. I don't know.
It sounds pretty hot.
Yeah.
It sounds pretty good.
Yeah, but we also don't want people to go, oh, well, now Steve's organization owns this building. Like, well, no, but we're using it to leverage the collateral to then go buy other buildings, right? So,
Helicopter with me, and then you'll go, ooh, yeah.
yeah. So I don't know, Rick. I mean, I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but that's what we're trying to figure
I'm
out
sure
now.
someone who is in the nonprofit world can help us answer this question.
Yeah, because the federal government is going to give us the loan once we let them know that we have the down payment. It's just, you know how loans go, right? It's
Well, but even government, like we've been told that this process could take 6 months. Like just
oh,
the
the government
paperwork
moves so
process of-
slow. Like
Yeah.
it's even the VA, right? Like, if Tatiana goes to the VA, by the time she sees a doctor, she might as well just freaking fix her arm herself because it takes forever, right? And that's a shame too. I mean, we gotta figure out a way, on a federal level to be better,
Yeah.
And it's not for lack of trying. I run into people all the time. They go, Steve, I work for the VA, man. We're trying, and I
Yeah.
really care about our veterans, and I really
Yes.
want to do this,
Yeah.
that, and the other. But gosh, all the red tape that they have to go through to get to there is just a pain, in the ass. But off this weekend, very excited. We're gonna go to the Rockport House and spend some time and relax. Renee and
I
I
hope
have.
everyone enjoys their Labor Day weekend.
We're gonna relax. We got a concert booked for a little date night. I was talking to one of our friends before I came in here, and she was saying, she's like, I need to find a way to find time for myself, find time for my husband to be husband and wife, and find time for girl time.
Yeah.
He needs to find time for guy time, and we need to find time for together, right?
The balance of it all.
But when she said that, I thought about us, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm lucky in the aspect that I get to go on the road. It's still my job, but I still get guy time,
Right.
and I still get time away from the kids, which I miss. And I wish that I could be with my kids, but I do take that. I'm able to have that time
Yeah.
where I can have a drink with my friends, hang out, relax, not worry about the kids.
Yeah.
I get that, right? You don't.
Yeah.
However, one of the biggest issues, like I told her, and I don't want to name her name, but I told her, I said, you and Renee have the same issue. You both have the ability to go do a girls' night or alone time. Sometimes because you're trying to be an amazing mother, you don't take it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yes and no. You and I talk about this because you do the job that you do. The long-term mental stability of our children, I don't think that's the healthiest choice sometimes. And we talk about that's the weight that I carry, right? In our relationship, in our work-life relationship.
Yes.
I
hard.
need to be here for them, and that takes precedence.
But at the same time, she works from home, you work from home.
Yeah.
it's not like you can't take the kids to school and then go, hey, let's go have a brunch.
Yeah.
Let's go have a lunch. Let's go get a pedicure. Let's go get a manicure.
Yes, well, and now that the kids are, I always tell myself that too, that there are seasons for things, right? In the summer, those things are going to be harder to come by because the kids are home. And then once they start school, and when before Delilah was in school and I had a little one at home, it was even harder. They're just, they're life phases.
It's hard, but I also, and I'm guilty of it too. I also think that there's a lot of moms out there that get that mom guilt, like you're talking about. And sometimes, like I tell Garrett, when me and you do a mom-husband thing, I tell him, I say, look, son, I need to take my wife out on a date.
Yeah, I've heard you tell him that.
And I need me and my wife to be good.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes parents don't our relationships break because they're so focused on the kids that they forget to be husband and wife.
Yeah.
Right? And I think you need to be husband and wife sometimes. Have that date. Even if you're talking about the kids.
Yeah.
You're still going on a date. One of the things that we used to do and we need to do again is we would do a day date.
Yeah.
Drop the kids off, work out. Hey, I want to take you to lunch. Let's go watch a movie when there's nobody around on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
And enjoy each other. Right?
Yeah.
So for our mental health, we need that.
Yeah.
You need girl time. I need guy time. We need together time, right?
Yeah.
We also need skin to skin contact. Gotta have it.
That might be the nicest way you have ever put it on the podcast.
I'm surprised nobody has said anything about boiling your butthole.
Oh, there were no comments?
No comments.
Wait, how did the boiling your butthole not get made into a clip, by the way?
By the way, because it's so funny, but it's also not filthy. It's
How
not
come
dirty.
no one did a pic cherry with the boiling your butthole? Someone needs to make a pic cherry with that.
Did we boil our butthole last week? Yes, I think so. But you know what? We got so many comments. I think this is the most comments it's so we got 50 comments just on YouTube alone.
I noticed that because I went and I commented on stuff on last week's episode because we had the episode where we lost the sound and then we did sort of the follow-up. So I'm curious, did people who missed the lost sound episode then go back?
Well,
and watch
some
the
people are
last
like,
sound
wait,
episode?
what's going on? We didn't see last episode. We're like, well, now you got to go fucking watch last episode.
Yeah.
Don't make it real like you're watching TV.
Yeah, like before the commercial break. We'll tell you.
Yeah.
Right after this break. Fuck, I gotta wait.
No, and
Yeah.
none of it was at all intentional. But I'm really glad that because I wanted to sit last week out. I thought you needed one more week of a break. But I'm glad we jumped back in, and I'm glad we did it.
so
funny?
One of the comments was like, "I've been praying that you're not so filthy."
I didn't read that one.
That you can work on your filthy mouth, and I'm like, I want that person to know that I am trying. That's why I said boil your butthole. That's why, because I am trying not to drop F-bombs. I'm like, I get it. I'm trying. I just want people to understand that that's me, and that's how I grew up, and again, it's just part of my vernacular. You like that?
I do like that.
Let's go.
I would like to say that I think in the 5 years we've been doing this podcast, your vocabulary has improved.
No, I've always had a good vocabulary because I can't read or write. So I want to sound smart. Did that sound smart? It sounds. So I'm on it. I'm on my vernacular. All right, we got to go. Let's
We're going to make a version of Steve's Urban Dictionary.
Yes. Well, my teachers used to laugh because I would start in print and then I would end words in cursive.
Whatever.
And then, so teachers would be like, this is your Stevenese. Like, this is your own language. Yeah, so I would start in print and then I'd finish the word in cursive and she'd be like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I don't know. Did you read it, bitch? Can you read it? But we have to give it up to our friends at Aztec Chevrolet for always supporting us, for always being there for us. Please give them a chance. Old Salt Coffee, absolutely delicious. Trevino 10, Pick Cherries, Rao Western Wear, and of course our friends at Rebecca Creek, who we did break the record, 77 bottles. And by the way, dude, They had like 40 bottles of the double barrel.
Which is like so hard to find now.
Sold them all.
I'm not surprised.
Gone.
I'm not surprised.
Gone.
They're hard to come
Yep.
by.
So I'm very proud of what we have accomplished this last weekend. The Treviños are back with a good attitude. Renae looks absolutely beautiful. She wore a polka dot jumper thingy.
Stop while you're ahead.
I was laughing. You were over there like steaming it,
Uh-huh.
getting it ready. And I was like, why are you doing that? You're just going to send it back.
No,
It's
I'll
a
wear
rental.
it again before I send it back.
It's a rental.
We're taking a trip, the two of us. I'll wear it again on our trip. before
And
I
then
send it back.
Mason, by the way, Wade Bowen's event. Holy crap, Renae.
Yeah.
Like I thought ours was nice, right?
Oh wait, what is it? The Bowen Invitational.
Oh my dude, it was crazy, like bougie, rich people shit. Like it was.
What do you call those guys? Like,
Oh, the cowboy auctioneers. Yeah, we had cowboy auctioneers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm better than them though. I'm better than them. Yeah, I am better than them. But just to give you an
Steve's got a
example,
better sense of humor than they do.
just to give you an example, 4 tickets. So I had to leave, but it was 4 tickets to George Strait in Vegas, 4 backstage passes,
Yes.
a bottle signed by Chris Stapleton,
Okay.
a guitar signed by Chris Stapleton and George Strait. How much you think that went for?
7,000.
I would have bought it.
7K, yeah.
80.
Like in a 5-minute span.
It went from like
Holy
10,
cow.
and I'm like, ooh, I'm like 10, and then boom, it ended up at $80,000.
Holy cow.
Yeah, our friends in Portland are broke. But it was crazy, right? It was absolutely insane.
$80,000 off of one auction item. Holy cow, that's amazing.
Yep. So, any questions? Let's wrap it up. Rick, any questions?
Yeah, I think we're good.
That went by way too fast.
I know. Rick's like, wrap it up, guys.
All right, guys, we love you so much, and continue to like and share. We will have 3 cameras at some point.
Y'all look better on the tight tape.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll see you guys next week.